welcome, welcome. All right, so let's get into this. This is part 3 of our training. So this is the third part. If you have not seen the first 2 parts, no worries. However you are watching this, get in touch with me, contact me, messenger, comments underneath, return an email if you're getting this by email, and I will get you the first 2 parts so you can check it out. This is the process that we've used to build massive wealth for our family. We are in the process of buying some commercial property now. We thought we were going to be finished by the end of the year, but it does not look like we're going to finish before the end of the year, which is still fine. The lender isn't that happy because they want to finish by the end of the year. But this is all possible thanks to what I'm about to show you and what I'm about to talk about. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I think I got everything I need. All right, how to make life-changing money in real estate without tenants or contractors. Now, that's a big promise, and there are going to be some even bigger promises in this. How we use QuickTurn Real Estate to make $143,000 in less than 6 months, and how you can too. And this is part 3. All right. Just let me know that you can see everything, Gerald. Don't say congratulations yet because you're gonna jinx it. We gotta wait till we close the deal on this commercial piece of property, but we'll see how it goes. But hopefully everything goes well, and we'll see how it finishes out. But no worries. Let's get started. All right. Who am I and why am I discussing this? If you are new to this call, my name is Art, and along with my wife, Aisha, we have been investing in real estate for 26 years, actually 27 years, it might be 28 years now, I gotta see. And we've done hundreds of real estate deals. We've done everything. We have done, how can we help you? We've done fix and flip. We've done the BRRRR method. We've done rentals. We've done everything under the sun. How can we help you? We can help you avoid a lot of the mistakes many investors make, mostly because we have already made them, and we have made a ton of mistakes. So don't let anybody sit in here and tell you that, oh, we made all this money and we were perfect and everything else. We screwed up a lot, and that's just the truth of the matter. We didn't give up, and we now share our real world experience to teach and help you build something meaningful for you and your family. At the end of the day, that's what we all want. We all want the truth. We all want to know just what's involved, and we want to try to avoid mistakes. And that's what we've done, and we can help you with that. We have found a successful path to wealth generation and built a repeatable, scalable process that you can repeat and get similar, if not greater results. What do I mean? A wealth generation process? There are a lot of ways to try to make money in real estate. We didn't try to figure it all out. We figured out one way that works, and it works consistently. And we try to show people how to do the same thing that we do. And it works. I don't know what else to tell you. It works. This call that we're going on is about 30 minutes. So please pay attention because I'm going to move fast. So if you have questions, ask them in the chat. If you can interrupt me, just ask a question. As long as it's related to this topic, then I'll be happy to stop and go over it. If you need me to clarify something or go a little bit further into something, then let me know. I will be happy to do that. All right. How have we helped others? Our current group of students have purchased or are in the process of purchasing and selling over 1.2 million of real estate with about $500,000 in profit in the last 3 months. This property is actually, no, it's okay, Gerald, my bad. The properties that they are purchasing, this number is actually a little bit higher, but we haven't updated it for about 3 weeks. But they are doing deals right now, and they're doing multiple deals. They are not stopping and doing one deal and waiting till that deal is finished. They're doing multiple deals. Many of our students are buying multiple properties, like Lisa, who has never purchased investment property before, and since working with us is in the process of buying 4 properties at less than half of what they are worth. She is following the process, and she is getting over 4 properties at less than half of what they are worth. So you can imagine how hard is it to make a profit if you're getting properties for less than half of what they are worth. Okay. Kyra is one of my favorite students. Don't say anything to Lisa, who purchased her first investment property and is selling it for $40,000 to $50,000. Kyra is doing excellent, and we're happy to see her. And she's been doing exactly what we asked her to do, and she's seeing results. Yolanda is a realtor, but never purchased property for herself. She helped make everyone else rich, and she has done nothing to help herself other than get a commission. She decided to take a change and do something for herself. And after working with us, she secured a deal on 3 properties and made $130,000 plus in profit. Now, the way she did that, I'll just tell you really quickly. She bought 3 properties. She did not use any of her own money. She actually sold 2 of the properties to investors and then took the money from those profits and bought the 3rd property with cash and had it free and clear and turned $130,000 plus profit on a deal. It was a great deal. She did exactly what we said. And it's the kind of stuff that you only get access to when you're getting someone holding your hand and helping you when the deal seems like it's going to fall apart. Because Lisa and Yolanda both had deals they thought were going to fall apart, and they were able to put them together just with a little bit of guidance. And that's what a lot of people need. I'm going to show you tonight the third part of our entire process that made all of these deals possible, and it can help you do the same thing. So if you're ready to get started on this third part, because we're going to be going through this stuff, and this, I'm going to tell you, is where most people fail when they work with us. Give me a thumbs up in the comments. Just let me know you're ready to get started. You got your notes out, your popcorn, whatever you like to do, and we'll get started right away. So, and follow what I'm telling you to do because it makes sense. Don't fall into the trap of doing what I'm about to tell you most people do. Thank you, Edna, for the thumbs up. All right. An overview of what you will learn in this training. Now, this is an overview for the full training, and then I'm going to talk about the training just in this part. We teach 4 parts that are necessary to make sizable money in real estate. These are the 4 things that you need to learn. These are the 4 parts, the only pieces that are needed in this business. So don't let anybody else tell you that you need something else. You only need these 4 parts. If you get these 4 parts down, you can make more money than you need and set yourself up for life, literally. And it's not more complicated than this. Everything else is filler and optional. So rentals, rehabs, wholesaling, the BRRRR method, if you've heard any of those are all built on top of what I'm about to share with you. The 4 steps that you need in real estate are: 1, finding high profit deals. I talked about that in the first training, and that deals with properties that have tons of equity in them. So you should not be looking on foreclosure lists. You should not be looking for tax liens. You should not be looking for expired listings. You should not be looking for driving for dollars and looking for old abandoned property. High profit deals, here's the beauty of them. They look pretty and nice. You can't tell that there's an opportunity there if you drive by them. A lot of times they've got people living in the property. There's plenty of equity in the property, and the seller is highly motivated. So we talked about how to find those deals. 2, negotiating with sellers. You don't need to go to a house. You don't need to go over the house and check it out and take a look at it. You need to negotiate with the seller. If the seller cannot be negotiated with, or you can't put a deal together over the phone, then there's no point in you going over there. I would rather take my time and go find another seller. And the way we do it, everybody ends up working with us because we have a very straightforward process. We probably close about 70 to 80% of the people that do deals that call us and we talk to, which is an extremely high number. That's an extremely high number, but it's because of the process. So that's negotiating with sellers. Number 3 is financing your deals. We work on 2 ways to finance deals. We're going to talk about one of those ways tonight, but you don't need 16 different ways to finance deals. You don't need to go around asking people for all kinds of crazy stuff. You just need to finance deals one or 2 specific ways, and we're going to talk about that. And finally, exiting your deal with the profit. Surprisingly, this is where most people fail. I'm going to explain in a little bit, but this is where, if you are listening to me and you're like, man, I really like what Art's talking about, I like what he's saying, but you don't follow this last part, you're going to end up stuck. You're going to be mad, and then you're going to be saying, why is it like this? Why, Art, you told me one thing and it's happening some other way. Just follow what I'm saying, okay? So let's get into it. Let's talk about tonight. Part 3, what we will cover in this section. So what we're going to discuss tonight: financing our deals with the only 2 ways you will ever need. We covered the first one in part 2. So if you didn't get part 2, just say in the comments, or I'll set up, direct message me and say, hey, here's my email address. Can I get part 2? And I'll send it to you, or part 1 if you need both parts. We're going to talk about the second way. We talked about the first way in the last call. We're going to talk about the second way that you can finance all your deals. And it's very powerful. 2, why we never rent, wholesale, or renovate properties, and why you shouldn't either. If you're on this call and you're thinking about, man, maybe I'll wholesale some of these deals, or I'll renovate them or wholesale them, you are making a mistake, and I'm going to talk about why you should not do that. There's a better way. How to sell your properties quickly for large cash profits. It's almost like some people work against this. They don't want large cash profits, and do it all without a buyer's list. Now, let me know in the comments, how many of you guys have buyer's list? If you're looking at wholesaling and you put together a buyer's list and you're thinking, I got 15 buyers that are cash buyers, that can buy on my property. Is anybody working with the buyers list? And that's great, except after this call, you're probably not going to want a buyers list anymore. And I'm going to explain why. You're losing money with the buyers list. And I know that goes against conventional wisdom, but it's the absolute truth from someone who's wholesaled before. And I know that there's better ways to do it. Okay. Yes, you're losing profit. So how this strategy, and this is a bold statement, how this strategy can replace your income, grow retirement money, and build a legacy, all without tenants, contractors, or stepping foot on the property. Now, that is a bold statement. You're going to replace your income, grow retirement money, and build a legacy. And we're going to talk about all of that on this call. And you can do it all without tenants, contractors, or stepping foot on the property. Okay. So let's get into it. First thing we're going to talk about is the financing. Now, last week, like I said, I talked about the first way to finance deals, and we talked about it. This week, we're going to talk about the second way we use to finance any deal, okay? So let me ask you this. How would you like more money than you need to buy property? Imagine that you had access to cash, and the cash exceeded what you could do for property, and your problem was actually not financing, but your problem was actually having finding the deals to work with the money you have. How many of you all would like to have that problem where money is no longer an issue, but you have to find the deals and you're behind, and the people with money that you're getting, you need them, they're pushing you to find them deals so that you can get going, so that you can make some money, so that you can really get everything going. That's the kind of problem that we have. And I'm going to show you how to have that same problem. I'm glad you like it, Edna, Meredith. I'm glad you like that. Feeling deal for the house deal. That's a good problem. It's a good problem until you got to deal with it, but it is stressful, I'll tell you. Okay, so let's talk about that. Why not use the biggest, easiest, cheapest bank in the world? This is literally the cheapest, most money bank in the world that most people don't use, or they use it incorrectly. Okay. So I know it's like, what is this? What is this? Seller financing is cheap, easy, and fast. Think about it like this. Here's how I want you to think about this. And I'm going to tell you the secret to getting this done. I mean, in a way that completely flies under the radar. And I guarantee you 99% of the people out there are not doing it this way. Seller financing is cheap, easy, and fast. Now, here's the reason why. Think of every house in a 50-mile radius of your home where you live right now. Now, think of all of those houses as being a bank account, and that bank account has different amounts of money in it. Sometimes some bank accounts have $100,000. Some bank accounts have $50,000. Some bank accounts have $300,000. They all have money in the bank account, but they can't access it. They can't get the cash. They can't use it. So you can't go into the bank and just get the cash out, at least not without going through a big, long, arduous process. Okay. So let's talk about how do we get access to this money? How do we get access to seller financing? Okay. And it comes down to asking one simple question. In this business, I'm going to stop right here and tell you, in this business, asking questions is probably the most powerful tool that you have in your entire arsenal. No matter what you do, asking questions is going to make you the most money. I've had questions that I've asked that made me $1 million. And I'm not joking. I've had questions that have made me $30,000 or $20,000 more dollars. And I'm going to explain those questions on this call. So we're going to ask one simple question, and it's going to completely slide under the radar. Does anybody have any idea what this question is? Because I would love to see if anybody gets this right. What could you ask a seller to get them to do seller financing? Anybody? Any ideas before I press this button, because I don't want to press it. I'm just curious if you got any idea. What question could you ask that would make them open to owner financing? Okay. No takers, I see. So here's the question. What will you do? Nope, that's not it. What would you consider owner financing? Can you become the bank? Nope, not it. The simple question is, what will you do with the money after we close? What will you do with the money after we close? Now, that is a powerful question. Do you get why that's a powerful question? Because they are telling you, the answer that they give you is unwittingly letting you know what their plans are and if they are a lead for owner financing. If I ask you, what will you do with the money after we close? Your mind doesn't even go to, I don't want to do owner financing. Your mind goes to, oh, I'm going to do, and they're going to be very honest because they look at it as just a passive question. So they're going to say, oh, I'm just going to take, I don't know, take the money and put it in the bank. Or I'm going to take the money, I'm going to pay off my car, and then I'm going to, sit the rest of it. Or I'm going to take the money and I'm going to look for another investment. They're going to give you some indication of what they're doing with that money. They're not going to say, why do you want to know that? You want to do owner financing? It's going to completely slide under their radar. And that's what we want. We want to get under their radar so they feel comfortable about answering their question, and we can use that information later on in the process of talking to them. Okay. What will you do with the money after you close? Now I'm going to go into this in a little bit more detail, so just pay attention. Okay. Using that question, you can set up funding for every deal, not just that deal. You can set up financing for every deal. Okay. So let's talk about that and what that looks like. How does it look to set up financing by simply asking that question? Okay. What can we do with seller financing? Let's talk about some of the benefits. We can get the seller to wait on their money, but we have to exit properly. We have to set it up in a way that is beneficial for the seller and is beneficial for us. It cannot be one-sided. And we don't want to create one-sided deals. We want to create fair deals so that people are happy they did business with us. People want to continue to do business with us, and they want to tell their friends about doing business with us. Get the seller to wait on their money, but we have to have the right exit. That's the first benefit. Second benefit is getting the seller to take a discount on the price. How do we get a seller to take a discount on the price with owner financing? I mean, we're already getting owner financing. I'm going to show you how in just a second. Number 3, make the seller into a private lender. How many of you all have heard of private lenders? Better yet, how many of you all have actually set up a private lender or, worked with, set someone up to become your private lender? The way I'm going to explain this, you're going to be able to make people into private lenders. Does that sound beneficial? Is that something that would help you with financing deals? Okay. Number 4, use their money regardless of your credit, with no down payment and with no qualifying. You don't have to qualify. You won't have to come up with a down payment, or you won't have to use your credit. That is some of the benefits you're getting with this. And we haven't even gotten to the full part of it. Number 5, we get to set the terms, including 0 interest and no payment. 0 interest and no payment. So imagine getting a deal where you don't pay any payment and you have 0 interest in the deal, and you're still financing it without using your credit, without a down payment. Do you see the power of what I'm saying? And it was literally just a question. It was just, what are you going to do with the money after we close? Okay. This type of seller financing doesn't work every time, but when it works great. Okay. Now, before I get to this next part, I want to tell you a little bit about this seller financing. When you set up seller financing, you got a couple of ways you can do it. You can go to them and say, hey, what are you going to do with the money? They're going to say, I don't know, I'm putting it in the bank. I'm not going to say anything then, but as we get closer to the time where we're making an offer, I'm going to use that as a negotiation tool and say, well, hey, so let's say they say, I want $200,000 for the house and I'm offering them $150,000. And they say, well, no, I don't want that. I got to get $200,000. And I'll say, well, if I can get you closer to $200,000, maybe we can set something up. Now, remember, you told me that you were going to do, you didn't have any plans with the money other than putting it in the bank. How would you like to get a higher return on the interest than what you get from the bank? And they're going to say, what do you got in mind? And I'm going to make them an offer with owner financing. And that way I'm going to make a higher price offer than what I was giving them with cash. Because at the end of the day, I can make them a higher price offer because the interest I was going to pay the bank, I can give it to them. So they get what they wanted, and I get the property at a number that makes sense, and I don't have to come up with financing. Then once they say, okay, there's all kinds of other stuff you can do. Like you can get them to discount the price later after you've done the deal. I can't go too far into it because we don't have enough time, but there are so many things you can do. No interest, no down payment, discounted price. And you can ask them to become a private lender on the next deal, and they feel comfortable with you becoming being your private lender because they've done this business with you and you took care of them. Does that make sense? You're taking care of them, and it's building trust, it's building a relationship. And how hard is it to say, hey, I've got this other deal. Would you like to put the money on that now that I'm paying you back, or now that I've sold this property? It sets up a windfall of cash that you will use to finance deals. You will have more people giving you money to buy property than you have property. Your problem is going to be finding deals, not the financing at 0% interest and or very low interest with no payments and no down payment. That's just the tip of the iceberg with this strategy. So let's talk about, remember I said you could do this, but you have to exit the right way. Why we never rent, wholesale, or renovate properties. Let's talk about that and get into it. Make sure, are you all still with me? I just want to make sure everybody's following along and this is making sense for everybody. So just give me a thumbs up again in the chat. Let me know that we're all on the same page. Because I know I go fast. I get excited about this stuff and then I start talking too much. Anyway, all right. So our exit strategy. We never rent because it doesn't pay enough. It doesn't pay enough per deal. Okay. Thank you for the thumbs up. It doesn't pay enough per deal. I have a student and I'll just go ahead and say it. I have a student and she has a deal that she was currently working on. And I am fighting with her for her to not rent the property out. Now, she bought the property from a landlord that doesn't want to be a landlord anymore. And her strategy, she got the property, got a great deal on it. Her strategy is she'll rent it out and she'll make, because she's got a lot of equity in it, she'll just make the cash flow on the property. And her logic is, I'll get $1,500, $2,000 a month in cash flow. My thing is, she could sell the property now and probably make $90,000. Why would I wait on $90,000 just to get $2,000 a month? And here's the thing, when you rent it out, you hope they pay, but if they don't, now you're losing money every month. Every month you're losing money, and they could tear up your property and they could, take months to kick them out. Why go through all that? Why would I do that? It does not pay enough to have a rental property. Take the cash. We can find more deals. We can finance more deals. Take the cash. That's why we never rent. Well, let's talk about when we rent. One of the things we do is we do get into cash flowing properties, but that's later in our business model. And it's because it will benefit us for taxes. It is not for cash flow. If you need cash flow, this is not the way to do it with rental. You need to get cash, and that takes care of your cash flow for now, and keep doing deals. That will take care of your cash flow. Later on, we'll do something like this, but it'll be for taxes, and that'll be the big benefit. We don't wholesale because of a couple of reasons. One, we don't have control. It doesn't pay enough, and it's too risky to our reputation. Now, I'm going to ask this question. How many of you all in here are wholesalers or thought about being a wholesaler, or you're seriously considering being a wholesaler? Let me know in the chat. Just let me know if you're a wholesaler, you considered being a wholesaler, or you're about to become a wholesaler in 2025 and it's the year of the wholesale for you. Let me know, because I'm going to break these three things down and tell you, yes, it is not worth it. If you've tried it before, thank you, Dr. Barbara. It is not worth it. Let me talk to you about a couple of reasons why it's not worth it. One, we don't have control. When you put a deal together and you sign a contract with the seller and then you go try to find a buyer, if either party realizes you are wholesaling, they get nervous. They might try to cut you out of the deal. They might try to do a deal around you. And it's very easy to cut you out the deal, because if the buyer and the seller talk at any time, they can say, well, what are you selling the house for? Oh, I'm only selling it for $100,000. Well, they're charging me $130,000. Why don't I pay you $115,000 and then we'll split that $30,000 that they were going to get, and they cut you out of the deal. Happens all the time. That's the first thing. You don't have control. Number two, it doesn't pay enough. You don't have enough. It doesn't pay enough because of the fact that, hey, $1,500, $5,000, $10,000 for all that work involved, because it's not like you're doing these extremely fast. It might take a few months to a year to do a wholesale deal. It might take, let's say it took you 60 days. If it takes you 60 days to do one wholesale deal and you turn a $5,000 profit, that's not enough to keep the lights on in your business. I'm just going to be straightforward with you. It doesn't pay enough. And there are some times when you can make large amounts of money on wholesale, but that's more guessing and luck than it is actual systematic, consistent way of doing that, if that makes sense. The last thing is, it's too risky to our reputation. What do I mean by that? If you put together a wholesale deal, the deal does not work out, then you just walk away from the deal, cancel the contract. The seller might have been planning to move and then they were counting on that money, and you're screwing them. which, hey, just it's low risk for you. You didn't get hurt, but your reputation is shot with that seller. That seller is going to tell everybody in there and everybody that they know, don't do business with this person and don't do business with wholesalers in general because it's bad. It kills your reputation. You don't have to do that. You don't have to put people at risk. You don't have to put your reputation at risk. There are better ways. Okay. And then we don't renovate property because we don't need the headache. The money we make is in finding the deal and negotiation, not in fix up. I'm going to talk about this in just one more second. So stay with me. Okay. That's one of the things we don't need to renovate. If you've ever had to deal with contractors, you know what I'm talking about. Contractors, you got to constantly watch them. You got trying to make sure they don't run off with your money, trying to make sure they get the work done, trying to make sure the work they do is actually good. If you find a good contractor, you've got to keep them busy or else they will leave because they need work every week. It is a whole process. That's another business in your business. It's not worth it. Okay. All of these strategies really are making extra risk and they're slowing us down. That's the truth of the matter. They're extra risk and they're slowing us down. Okay. So we do not want to pick up these extra things that are completely unnecessary. But most of us have been taught this is the way to do real estate and this is what we should be doing. You have one goal in real estate: get the check. That is the only goal. Everything else is a lie. I don't want to be a landlord to a bunch of people that don't want me as a landlord. I don't want to renovate properties and deal with contractors. I don't want to wholesale and hurt people's feelings and get small paychecks. All of that is unnecessary. Okay. So our only exit is to sell it to anyone and everyone. Why? Let me slow down because I'll get too excited. Let me ask you this. Is it better to sell to 10 people or 10,000? I'm just curious. What do you think? Which one would you rather sell to? Would you rather have a house that you're selling and 10 people know about it and they can buy it? Or would you rather have 10,000 people know about it and they can buy it? Just think about that for a second, because that is what you're doing every time you have a buyer's list. Every time you've got a list of investors that are cash buyers that can buy your property. Why would you ever want 10 people? Why would I ever want a list of people that only these people can buy my house? Now, here's the crazy part. That's exactly what many wholesalers and rehabbers do. Let me explain. If I'm a wholesaler and I got a list of cash buyers, the reason I have a list of cash buyers is because I don't actually own the property. So I can't go to a title company and sell it because I don't own it. So that's why I need the cash buyers, so that the title company won't ask a lot of questions. The buyer can just bring their cash and I can just bring the seller and we can just get it to sneak it in and close the deal. That's limiting. Same thing with rehabbers. If you rehab a house and make it beautiful, is everyone in the market looking at your house? The answer is no. The top tier buyers are looking at your house. The people that have excellent credit, huge down payments, and they're picky because they got the choice of any property in the area. So you got to find somebody that has the money, has the credit, hope they can close, and they're picky because they got the money. Meanwhile, we buy and sell without fixing them up. We sell to everybody. Cash buyers, yes, I will sell to you. Picky buyers with excellent credit, yes, I will sell to you if you want to buy. Middle of the market buyers that just want a house to live in, they're first time home buyers, yes, I will sell to you. VA buyers that have a VA loan and they don't qualify for everything, yes, I will sell to you. We sell to everybody. Why would I limit my money to just one or two groups? I want everybody to buy my property. And the beautiful thing is they usually drive up the price. If the market is halfway decent, they will drive up the price of my property. To make the most profit, we need to only sell to the general public. That's the only people we need to sell through. We can sell through a realtor. We can literally sell through a realtor. It's not more complicated than that. You can sell through a realtor, let it be known to everybody that you're selling. Wholesalers can do it, rehabbers can do it, but they're limited in who can buy. We're selling to everybody. Okay? You need to think like a business owner, not a traditional investor. 90% of the stuff you learn as a traditional investor is wrong, and I can prove it to you. How many of you all have signed up for a master class or a weekly training or any of that stuff, and they tell you stuff and you do what they said and it does not work? It literally does not work. In your area, it doesn't work. and where you're from, it doesn't work. I don't know if it's your side of town. I don't know if it's because your name is on the paperwork. It just does not work. Okay. When that happens, there's a reason it didn't work. It's because there's a 16 million other people doing the exact same thing you are doing. You're looking under the same trees. You're going to the same areas, talking to the same people, saying the same stuff. You have got to think outside the box. You have got to try something different. And I'm not telling you if you work with us or not. I'm telling you that is what it takes in this business. You have to think differently. Everything I say, finding buyers that are, or finding sellers that are motivated and have equity. That's not what most people do. They look for motivation and then equity. Not the way we do it, where we look for equity and then let motivation come to us. Finding financing that doesn't require you to do 20 things and it sets you up where you got to take 6 months to do the financing. We have 2 ways and they finance everything very easily. And then selling the place where we're getting the numbers. Follow the instructions. Yes, it works. It's not traditional, but it works. This works. I can't tell you how many students I've worked with that started. They were scared about what we do. They were scared to trust us. And then they do it and it works and they're amazed. And it's not magic. It's just doing what everybody is not doing. Moral of the story, give yourself the best chance of making the most money by selling to anybody and everybody. Why would you ever limit yourself? Now, I know I've gone into a long stint, but that's what I want you to get from this, why you need to be looking at it differently, okay? So how does this strategy replace income, grow retirement, and build a legacy? Let's talk about all of that because that's a lot. What have we learned in these trainings that we've gone over, these 3-part trainings? 1, how to find high profit deals with equity and motivation. That's the first thing. How to negotiate those deals to get the seller to tell us their lowest price and lower risk by making offers on everything. We're going to lower our risk at every point in this process. 3, how to finance the deals only using 2 ways, bank money or seller financing, and how to maximize profits with seller financing. That's what we learned. The only way we should exit a single family real estate deal and why. There's only one way. Single family is not an investment grade asset. Single family is something you get in, get out, get gone, quick. That's why we do quick turn. We turn it and get rid of it. You don't want to keep it for a long time because you run a lot of risk. If we follow this strategy, let's look at what it gives us. 1, large lump sums of cash we can use to replace our income. So all of you all that get on a call with me or talk to my team and you say, oh, if I could just make $5,000 a month, shame on you. We're talking $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a month by doing deals, 1 deal a month that makes you $30,000 or $40,000. 2 deals a month that make you $40,000 a piece, which is $80,000. Let's make some real money. And then we have runway. We have money. You don't have to spend $80,000 a month. You spend $5,000 a month. And now you got runway for the rest of the year off of 2 deals. You can keep going for the rest of the year and do as many deals as you can. After our income is met, money that can be invested to quickly defer taxes. Now, here's something nobody talks about, and I'm running out of time, but I'm going to be quick. When you do these deals, you start making money, you are going to have a tax problem. And if you don't deal with it, it's going to become an even bigger problem. We're going to show you how you can defer those taxes by getting into commercial. A strategy for investing into large-scale commercial real estate to create retirement income. This is going to create retirement income. So you've replaced your income, you're building retirement income because you're investing in large-scale commercial real estate. And then finally, a business, because buying and selling the houses is a business that we can eventually sell or give to our children, creating a legacy. I know this is probably scary and a lot of information for you all, for some people, because some people are just like, hey, I just wanted to make a couple of bucks in real estate. And I get it. But I'm trying to tell you that you can win on both sides. You can be helpful to people where you're not stealing their property. You can work with people that want to do business with you, so you're not cold calling and they're slamming the phone in your face, or you're driving and they're saying, stop calling me about my house. You can make money that allows you to replace income and live a life that you're comfortable with and travel and live life and enjoy it and not just be stuck at a desk. And at the same time, you can ultimately build a legacy and build something bigger than you, so that when you pass, you can pass it on to your kids or your grandkids and make something. And it's not so hard. It seems like wow, that's a lot and that's crazy, but it's very capable and very, very realistic. And no one talks about all of this stuff. They tell you how to make a quick buck with wholesaling. Nothing wrong with that, but we're not here. I hope if you're here, you're not here for a quick buck. You're here for some real life-changing money. That was the goal of this whole thing. Okay. So that's what it gives you. Long-term and short-term income with less risk, lower taxes to give our kids a chance without tenants. If you've ever dealt with tenants, the last thing I would ever want to do is leave my kids with a bunch of tenants. It's literally like a punishment. This gets you away from doing that. You don't have to have your kids deal with contractors or going to dangerous areas or dangerous properties. Okay. This is a legacy business. So what is the next move after this training? After you watched all three of these, you're like, okay, I got this. I'm interested. What's the next thing? If this makes sense to you, do these three things and I have a gift for you. So everybody watching, pay attention. One, I would like you to make a 30-second to 90-second video on what you thought of these trainings and this strategy. What were your questions? Did you think it was beneficial? Does this make sense for you? Is this something you want to do? Is this something that, no, I don't like it because of this? Whatever it is, I don't care if it's good or bad. Make me a 30-second to 90-second commercial or video, just letting me know your thoughts on the training. Submit your video to me at support@quickturnre.com. I'm going to put it in the chat and I'm going to put it when I do the replay of this, I will put it in the comments. So if you don't have it, if you don't have the first two, just direct message me, send me your email and I'll make sure you get the first two. Or you can, and better yet, here, I got something else for you. If you don't have the first two, let me do this because this will make it easier. Give me a quick second. If you don't have the first two, I'm going to give you my messenger address on Facebook Messenger. And then you can just message me and say, hey, Art, I want the first two trainings. That is my messenger address. So you can see it in the chat. Just say, hey, Art, I need the first two trainings or I need all three trainings. I don't have them. And I'll get you the trainings. I'll shoot them over to you and we'll start the conversation. So 30-second to 90-second video on what you thought about the training and the strategy. If it makes sense for you, whatever your thoughts are, good, bad, indifferent, I want to hear them. Let me know. And yes, yes, and still, please make me one. I would appreciate it. Set up an onboarding call to talk with me or my team. The link is in the chat. So I'm going to put that link. Give me 1 second. Let me put that link in the chat and you can set up an onboarding call with us. And once you set up the onboarding call and you've done your video, send me your video. Everyone who submits a video and sets up a call, even if you set up a call with me before, set up another call because we're doing some things differently going into the new year. And we will give you an additional free training that summarizes all the steps from all three videos and we'll cover some additional resources that you can use. So it'll be an additional training to this. It's complimentary of this. It kind of summarizes all of this stuff. And it's part of, it'll explain everything in greater detail to you so that you can get started today. I want you guys to win. I want you guys to do this stuff, make some money with it, and then ultimately you can go into buying commercial real estate with us and we can talk about that. And we want to put some commercial real estate deals together. And I don't want you guys to be limited or feel like you got to wait and wait and wait, and you don't have to wait, okay? So those are the two links. You can set up a call. You can also send us, and let me put in, so this is the call link to set up a call, an onboarding call. This is my messenger if you want the two parts. And if you're going to do me a 90-second video, just say your name and say, hey, this is so-and-so with QuickTurn, the QuickTurn family, and let me know what you thought about the training, what you thought about the strategy, and we'll get you going, okay? And we'll get you the training right away. Now, for those of you that haven't been on these calls before, really quickly, I'm going to show you some of our previous purchases, just so you see that these houses are not falling apart, scared to go into houses in a bad neighborhood. We purchase and sell multiple deals at the same time. So we're always buying, always selling. The average profit per deal is $39,000. At least the last time we did this, we're at the end of the year. So I'll be revising these numbers because I know that they're higher this year. We made more than $39,000 on average. But these are the kind of deals. Our average repair cost was $1,500 or less on a deal, $1,500 or less. Average time that we owned the property was about 60 days or less. Total time from contact to check. And what that means is from the day the seller contacted us to the day we got a check was usually about 95 days. You can see these houses, and these aren't after we fix them up. These are what they look like now. You can see they're not perfect, but they're not bad. They're not scary to go into, that kind of stuff. Okay. So these are the kind of deals that we put together when you're looking for motivated equity the way that we do. They don't have to be falling apart deals. They make good sense. They're comfortable places where you wouldn't be scared to go walk into, that kind of thing. These are how they look now. Okay. You see the roof on this one is kind of dated, but it's still sold with no problem. And the cash was green. I checked. Okay. So if you want to learn more about this, then set up a call with me. If you don't want to do the 90-second video, that's fine. You just won't get the training, but set up a call with me. Let me know what your thoughts are. We'll talk to you about, if you want to send the video, there's the link for the video. Set up an onboarding call. The link is below for the onboarding call. And we'll give you a summary training about this if you give us the video. Otherwise, we'll talk to you about what you want to do, where you want to go, how you can get there faster in 2025. You don't have to break the bank or go crazy. You can get more training or less training depending on what you need, but we want to help you get started. That is my ultimate goal. Aside from anything else we do, that is what we want you to do. Okay. So I hope this training has made sense for you. I hope you've gotten some value out of it. If you came on late and you got the training late, no worries, because I went way over. No worries with the training. I'll make sure that we send out a replay tomorrow so you'll have access to it. And that way you'll be able to see all of the trainings. So let me know in the chat. I'm sorry. Let me know in Messenger if you need parts 1 and 2, and I'll get those to you. Otherwise, guys, I hope you enjoyed this 3-part training. We've got some new great stuff planned for next year. We look forward to working with you. As always, happy hunting. See you guys later. Have a happy new year. Bye-bye.